one clear message we can get from the Epstein files is that the Epstein and his conspirators, his collaborators, were very much the driving force behind inclusive capitalism, stakeholder capitalism, the sustainable development goals, which gives us Agenda 2030. When you understand that Epstein, there's a lot of things. It's sort of like a big Rorschach test. When you look at these things, it's an enormous haystack, and there's many, many, many needles in there, and it may take years to figure out which needles are actually there and which ones are simply, we're grasping at straws. There's so much there. I mean, there's no question that what's going on was extraordinary corruption. It was a corrupting influence upon the world from the top down. And what's especially concerning in a lot of ways, it was an ideological corruption. It was people were definitely making a great deal of money through these things. There's no question about that. But had people been focused on investing in things that produce, growing the economies of countries, especially in the West, had there been a conspiracy to make money through growth and enrichment of these countries, there may still be illegal things going on, but what we have was an ideologically based conspiracy to infect the economic systems of the countries of the West with a very non-productive, control-oriented, cultish view of the economy and what should be going on. The idea that a company should not be focused on making money primarily, which is what traditional capitalism does, and there are problems with that potentially, which are generally resolved through anti-corruption laws, through things like the RICO, the racketeering laws, the laws of antitrust. If we have a robust system that is enforcing antitrust laws, RICO laws, anti-corruption laws, then the profit motive is generally not as much of a problem. The stakeholder capitalism model gives you goalposts that are based on social engineering, the ideas of what society should look like, and it gives you a bunch of idealized metrics that you should be meeting in order to deindustrialize your country, limit the use of land, limit the use of resources. So it's a agenda to basically restrict, constrict, and make your business oriented towards social engineering and not towards profit. If people understood how dangerous and stupid this is, this would have been abolished a long time ago, except for the fact that we've moved our economies towards bureaucracy, away from making anything. Those actual production has moved to third world countries, not by corporations based there, but by international corporations that are playing shell games. So this the international corporations are playing nations against each other, trying to get the lowest labor costs. This is allegedly why they're bringing in all the immigrants into Europe and into the United States. But at the same time, they're enforcing these Agenda 2030 laws. Now, if they wanted to flood the market with cheap labor, and they were going to get rid of all of these sustainable development goals and Agenda 2030, then that might make sense. But they're doing both of these things simultaneously. So they're not dedicated towards growing any economies through bringing in cheap labor. They're entirely dedicated to the decimation of small business, of any business that is not completely under the thumb of these the internationalists, the globalists. And if you are going to try and break a country away from this, you're going to be extremely limited if you continue to deal with organizations like the EU that have completely embraced this. The EU is censoring its people. It has gone incredibly far down the road towards deindustrialization. Its goals for immigration are absolutely insane, and it's not expecting Muslim countries to take in immigrants. It's not expecting African countries to take in immigrants. It's not expecting China to take in immigrants. It's only expecting countries that are majority white and majority often Christian, or those countries that are, part of the Western tradition. Now, what is Western civilization? People are even confused about this. What really marks the Western civilization is a legal tradition, a high trust society. Western civilization has always been somewhat porous to influences from other countries, and that's actually one of its features, that it will take on different ways of thinking critically. It will embrace certain things and reject other things because there's something like an economy of ideas that can be tried out and engaged. And the fact is that the European and Western civilization has had a lot more depth and breadth of ideas in its own history that you can find, that it often, will have something reintroduced to it from Asia or from Native American ideas or from other places, and it will re-embrace those ideas. And this is not to diminish the importance of these other cultures, but the philosophical ideas are often already in the Western civilization. And as I said, it's been one of its attributes is this ability to look at ideas that are different. And that is not the case for many other civilizations, so to speak. Islam does not do that. Other, African civilization, I can't speak for that exactly, but it's been a strength to be able to look at and take in ideas from other cultures. And that's not, it's only when that becomes suicidal, when it becomes self-hating, when it starts to lose its ability to tell good from bad, simply to accept other cultures as, superior because they're brown or black or yellow or whatever, and that all that you can see is European colonialism, and it's something that people call patriarchy. These are absolutely non-starters. These are not valid arguments.